Welcome back. All right, so this is our first presentation, the one that we will do the first day after our last class. Okay, so let's start by remembering where we were. All right, remember we were working on chapter 4 for us is 6 in the book. Okay, international parity and relationships and forecasting exchange rates. Remember that was the idea. Also, I'm getting familiar with this tool. Okay, so that's great. So remember, in this chapter, what we were doing, we were talking about the interest rate parity. Okay, we were going to discuss different theories that try to predict how exchange rates are going to work in the future. Okay, is that going to devaluate? Is that going to depreciate, appreciate, etc. Okay. Out of these theories, okay, the one that we were working on is the first one, the interest rate parity. Okay, and out of these theories, also remember I told you that it is the interest rate parity, the one that we can use to perform arbitrage, for example, the one that is going to be more exact, you will. Okay, the one that can represent an equilibrium condition. Okay, the one that we are working on so far. Okay, and at the end, this idea of the forecasting exchange rates, okay, we will see some tools to help us to predict what's going to happen in the future, some tools that we can use to invest, especially in the short term, some of them. Okay, some tools that, you know, they don't really work, but as long as enough people believe that they work, they end up working somehow. Okay, so it's going to be interesting, so we're going to see it. All right. Okay, so remember, we started with interest rate parity, so we were working about the arbitrage, okay, etc. Okay, we are going to see all the rest. So the interest rate parity, remember, so a quick reminder, okay, about what it was. Okay, the interest rate parity, remember, we say that the interest rate parity, it is an equilibrium condition. Okay, so the idea behind the interest rate parity is that for an investor, it should be the same to invest anywhere in the world. Okay, if the investments have the same risk, the profit that you get should be the same, even though if you had to invest in a different currency. Okay, of course, ignoring fees, commissions, etc. But for any investor, if you are in the States, it should be the same to invest anywhere in the world. Okay, the profit that you end up having at the end in dollars, if the investments have the same risk, should be the same. Okay, we assume that that is true because otherwise there would be an option to perform an arbitrage and to make money out of the deal. Okay, and since we don't see people doing arbitrage all the time, we can assume that somehow this is true. Okay, so that's what we were talking about. Okay, you remember on the last day of class. Okay, so this idea. Okay, remember we already seen that. Okay, so it's an arbitrage condition, etc. Okay, so the last day of class we end up doing this problem. Okay, so we are going to start by working on this problem. All right, but before we start, I'm going to give you some time to start. Okay, before we start, let's go and see the steps. Okay, let's remember the steps. Okay, so to remember the steps, I prepare a new presentation. Okay, so that's what I told you about in the introduction. Okay, a new presentation that I think is going to help us to have the same feel that we have in the class. Also, check this out. Way better than the lousy bottle of water that I always have in class, right? I mean, that's an improvement. I must be honest. Okay, it's tea. Okay, nothing weird. All right, let's start. Remember, the first step, okay, we need to check the equilibrium. The equilibrium given by the interest rate parity. Okay, the interest rate parity, the expression was like that: the forward minus the forward minus the spot over the spot for any given currency times 12 over t times 100. Okay, more or less equal to the differential on the interest rate. Okay, remember that the order of the interest rate matter. Okay, remember that the order of the dollar minus the euros is connected with the order of the change rate, dollars over euros. Okay, that's important. That's going to be important. Not for the equilibrium, because remember that we're going to check absolute values. Okay, but for other questions that I'm going to ask you, okay, that's going to be relevant. Okay, also remember that the T, okay, is here to make this number a 1 year number, while the interest rates are always a 1 year number. Okay, that's the idea. Okay, so this whole part on the left, remember we call it the forward premium. Okay, so basically the forward premium tells us how much one currency is going to depreciate against the other in 1 year. Okay, and the forward premium should be more or less equal to the difference between the interest rates, that part over here. Okay, so we need to check the equilibrium. Okay, once we can check this, remember it is time to make an if decision. Okay, two things can happen really. Okay, I mean, it could be three. It could be that the forward premium and the interest rate differential are equal, but then it doesn't make sense to talk about an arbitrage. Okay, so two things can happen really. That the forward premium is lower than the interest rate differential, or that the forward premium is higher than the interest rate differential. Okay, so remember, if the forward premium, if we are here, if the forward premium is lower than the interest rate differential, we borrow from the country with the lowest interest rate and we invest in the country with the highest interest rate. Okay, if the forward premium is higher than the interest rate differential, if we are here, okay, then we borrow in the country with the highest interest rate and we invest from the country with the lowest interest rate. Okay, that's the idea. Remember this, okay. Well, I know that the final is going to be now open book, okay, so you will have this with you if you want, okay, but for you to remember in the future, okay, if this becomes useful for you guys, okay, remember the idea is that, for example, for me it's easier if I connect the interest rate part and the investing part. I say interest rate high, invest high, interest rate low, invest low, and from that you can take the other. Okay, but remember the one thing that we really care about right now is where to start borrowing. That's the really key thing for us. Okay, because where to start borrowing is going to help us to decide where to start the problem. Okay, so once we know where to start the problem, once we know where to borrow money, okay, let's remember the real steps of the problem. Remember, this kind of arbitrage, okay, this kind of arbitrage, we didn't need money for the arbitrage, okay, we didn't need money because all that we needed was to have a bank that give us a loan. Okay, so we need to borrow money from a bank, we need to change it to another country, we're going to invest it in the other country, and then we're going to sign a forward contract to bring the money back so we can pay back the loan, and then we still have money to as a profit. All right, so to do the problem, remember we have designed this system of two columns. Today, let me choose green. So today and X time later, okay, and for each column we have 4 steps, okay, 4 steps today over here and 4 steps X time later. Okay, so let's start with the steps. All right, step number 1, we borrow money. Step number 2, we exchange money. Step number 3, we invest money. step number 4, we sign a forward contract to change it back to the original currency, the money that we gonna get from the investment. Okay, X time later, we get the investment, we change the money back using step number 4, using the forward contract. We pay back the loan from step number 1, and we compare 2 prime and 3 prime, the money that we get from the investment in our currency and the money that we had to pay back. Okay. Remember, we mostly use the left column to write down information and the right column to calculate the real value. In the problem that we have done so far, the easy ones from the book, that is not that important, but in the ones that we're going to do during this presentation, okay, they're going to be a little bit more complicated with a lot more information. Well, it's going to be useful to write down on the left column the information because we're going to have a lot of numbers and it's going to be easy to get confused. Okay, so what happened in each step? Okay, let me take away all of this. Okay, so each step, now we have you borrow money. Okay, so I borrow X amount of money, depending on the if decision that we did on the slide before, for X amount of time in the interest rate of X%. Okay, you don't need calculation in this step. Okay, just write down the information. Okay, the interest rate that you're gonna use and the money that you are borrowing. Step number 2, you exchange money. That is going to be a calculation. Okay, that's the spot rate. Okay, that's today. You're changing money today, so you're gonna take the money that you borrow and you're gonna multiply it or divide it. It depends. Okay, by the spot exchange rate. Step number 3, you invest the money. Okay, once again, you don't have to do calculations. Okay, you just write down the information. I'm gonna invest X amount of money, the one that you take from step number 2, at the interest rate of X%, whatever it is in the country, for X amount of time. And number 4, before you can go home and relax today, you're gonna sign a forward contract. You're gonna sign a forward contract, okay, to bring 1 prime, the money that you get from the investment, back to the original currency. Once again, you don't need calculation here. Okay, you just need to write the proper forward rate X time later that you're gonna use X time later. Okay, why is it important to write it down? Because you know, in the problems that we're gonna do after this one, after this practice one, okay, we're gonna have bid and ask, we're gonna have different period of times. Okay, so it's a lot of information, so it's better that you know exactly what you had to use. Step 1 prime, we get the investment. Okay, and we get the expression, the final value equals the present value times 1 plus interest rate times t over 12. Remember the t over 12. Okay, the t over 12 that sometimes people forget, and then that's the common mistake. Okay, then we exchange the money back using step number 4. So whatever money you get from here, then you're gonna change it using the forward rate from step number 4. Okay, so that's the money that you get from the investment in your currency, but that's not the end. Okay, first we need to pay back the loan, so that's step number 3 prime. Okay, so step number 3 prime, once again you get the final value, same expression, same calculation, than the 1 prime. Here the present value is going to be the amount of money that you borrow in step number 1. Okay, and finally, it's not really a step, but just to make it even, 4 and 4, we have to compare the money that you get from the investment and the money you pay back from the loan. Okay, and with that, you will have you have the final answer. Okay, the final answer that if there are no fees or commissions should be a profit. If we have fees, commission, bid and ask, it may happen that we are not able to have a profit and we are losing money. Okay, all right, so now please pause this video, go back to problem number 4 in the slides. Okay, pause the video, go back to the problem, okay, and try to do it. Okay, so pause, try to do it, and then get back to the video. I'm gonna pause too. Are you ready to go back? Sure? All right, so let's go back. Okay, this is Darky with me. This is my audience while I'm recording the video. It's kind of weird. Okay, so let's go through the problem. Okay, I hope that you try first. Okay, I think it's way more useful if you try first and then you come back here. Okay, all right. So remember the expression. Okay, we are doing a 3 month arbitrage. Okay. So let's apply the change the numbers, okay? So we got the 0.7813 forward minus the 0.8 spot, okay? Times 12 for 3 times 100 minus 5.40 minus 5.60, the interest rate in euros and the interest rates in dollars, okay? The answers, 935, 0.2%. Remember, compare absolute values, okay? The symbol, the negative symbol doesn't really matter. Just for the equilibrium. If we are using the interest rate parity for anything else, it will matter. Okay, but just for the equilibrium, it doesn't really matter. So since the forward premium is higher than the interest rate differential, we need to borrow in the country with the highest interest rate. So that's going to be $1 million. Okay, that was given at the beginning because the interest rate in the US is 560. Is higher than the 540 in euros. So let's go to the steps. For the steps, okay? So we borrow the money. We borrow $1 million per 3 months, okay? Remember, because the forward premium absolute value is bigger than the interest rate differential. So we just write down the information. You realize, okay? We just write down the information. Then we exchange the money. So we multiply because the one that we are trading is at the bottom of the chain rate. So that's why we have to multiply. So we get 100,000 euros. Then we say that we're going to invest those 100,000 euros per 3 months at the interest rates in euros of 540. We don't need calculation here, remember. And finally, we're going to sign this forward contract to bring the money back in the future. We just write down that this is going to be the forward rate that we're going to use 3 months later. Okay. 3 months later, I forgot the 3 over here. 3 months later, okay. You get the investment, so the 800,000 euros that you are investing times 1 plus 540 times 3 over 12, so that's it, okay? Remember, when you are doing this this part of the problem, just try to make sense of this number, okay? If you see that this number all of a sudden is lower than the one that you have at the present value, then something is wrong. You had that this number is way bigger than the one that you had at the beginning, yeah, probably also is wrong as well, okay? Because we are just doing investment for 3 months, 4 months, so it shouldn't be that different, okay? The calculation are right to left, so you first multiply and then you add the 1 and then you multiply again. So then we're gonna change the money back to our currency in dollars. That's over here, and that's the money that we get from the investment in our currency in dollars. But that's not the end. We need to pay back the loan. To pay back the loan, we take the $1 million that we borrow at the beginning. We do the calculations for the 560, and we get $1,014,000. So we get that finally we have a profit of 23,757. Okay, $23,757.58. So that will be our profit. All right. So let's move on to something a little bit more complicated. So, all right, let's go. Okay, so this is our new deal. All right. First, well, I guess the first thing that you may say is like, oh wow, oh my, a lot of information here. Okay. Well, let's divide. Okay. Let's break it down information. It's not that much. Okay. First, we have here the monetary market. The monetary market refers to the market for interest rates. Okay. The market for interest rates. Okay. And then here we have the currency market, the market for exchange rates. Okay, exchange rates. So the monetary market, we're going to use it to invest and borrow. The currency market, we're going to use it to exchange money from one currency to the other. All right. So that's the same thing that we always had, but in a different format. And now about all the numbers that we have. Well, we don't need all the numbers. Okay. We don't need all the numbers. Okay. Oh yes, sorry. Something that is new as well. Now we have two kinds of interest rates. Okay. I mean, so far, just for the sake of the sample and to make it simple, okay, we have one kind of interest rate. But if you think about it, it's not the same interest rate, the one that a bank is going to offer you when you invest money in them, and the one that they ask whenever you ask for a loan. Okay, I mean, right now, if you invest your money, they're going to give you something around 0%, really. And if you ask for a loan, well, it depends. If it's like a personal loan in Spain, it could be around 9%. It could be up to 20%. Okay, it depends on the kind of loan that you're asking for. It is for a house. Well, the interest rate is really, really low, extremely low. It's almost negative sometimes. Okay, because it's really low. But for example, for my mortgage, it's like a fixed interest rate for 10 years of 1.75%, I think. Okay. So it's different. So that's what this means, okay? The borrow interest rate is the one that you use to borrow money, and the lend is the one that you use to invest. Why lend? It's British. Sorry, I don't know. They got it first. So to lend means to invest, to borrow means to borrow, okay? And just as a quick, just in case you don't remember, the borrow interest rate is going to be always higher than the lend interest rate. Always. I mean, whenever the bank gives you money, the interest rate they're going to ask you is going to be higher than the one that they are going to be willing to give you. Makes sense, right? I mean, so it's nothing weird, nothing complicated over here. Okay, so let's take away. What else? We don't need all the information. We just need the information referring to the 3-month arbitrage. In this case, it's just read the questions, okay, what I'm asking for, and just use that information, okay? So information that we need is the one that I have highlighted here in the screen, okay? We need the 3-month monetary market information, okay? The spot exchange rate, because we're gonna change some money today, and the 3-month swap, the 3-month discount, okay? And now, do you remember what discount points or swap points were? Probably not, okay, if it's been a while. So remember, discount points, swap points are basically a way to get the information that traders are going to use, okay? So a swap point or discount point means the forward 3 months minus the spot, or the spot minus the forward 3 months. We don't really know. Okay, there's a trick to know, but we don't really know just by saying. Okay, so the first thing that we need to calculate here is how much the actual forward rate for 3 months is going to be for us. Okay, to do so, remember to know if we need to add the swap to the spot or we need to subtract the swap from the spot. Okay, remember that what we had to do, we need to check the swaps, just the swaps, not the spot, the swap, okay? And then we say, if the ask swap is bigger than the bid swap, like in this case, it's bigger, okay? We are going to add the spot and the swaps, okay? If the bid swap was bigger, we will be subtracting. We will see examples of that, okay? In this case, since the ask swap is bigger, we are going to add. So those are the forward rates for 3 months that we actually are going to use. And now we have all the information that we need to solve the problem. Okay? One thing else before I let you go, okay, and you do the problem, okay? Probably whenever you start the problem, okay, there's gonna be a question here. There's gonna be a question of, all right, wait, but what happened with the equilibrium? Should I use the bid, the ask? Should I use the borrow, the lend? Which one? If you remember with the arbitrage problem with the triangular arbitrage, okay, remember that we say, well, it doesn't really matter as long as you are consistent. Here it's the same idea, okay? It doesn't really matter as long as you are consistent. You can use all bid and borrow. You can use ask and lender, ask and borrow, bid and lender, doesn't matter, okay? But what is important is that if you use ask, for example, is the three of them are ask. If you use bid, the three of them should be bid, okay? Same thing here for lender or borrow. If you use lender, both of them have to be lender. If you use the borrow, both of them have to be borrow, okay? Just for the equilibrium, same thing that happened with the triangular arbitrage. This works just for the equilibrium, okay? If you are using exchange rates for something else, later in the steps, you will have to use the proper bid or the proper ask, the proper borrow, the proper lender, okay? All right, let's move on. What else is new in the steps? Okay, so here, yes, I forgot to put this here. Okay, just for the equilibrium. Okay, really important. Just for the equilibrium, that you had to apply this idea of the just the ask or just the bid. Okay, later in the steps, it had to be the proper one. Okay. So what else in the steps? What's new here? Basically the same idea. The steps are the steps, okay? They are the structure, the bones of the problem is the same always, okay? So what is new? Well, what is new is that now you need to use the proper bid or ask when you exchange the money, and you need to use the borrow interest rate when you borrow money, and you need to use the lend interest rate when you invest money. That's it. Okay, that's it. Okay, that's the only difference. So you have to be a little bit more careful. All right. So once we know all of this, okay, please pause the video and try to do the problem, okay, and then go back whenever you are done with the problem, okay? But once again, let's try it, and then we can go back and check out the problem. All right, let's pause. So confess, are you really done with the problem? Yes? Okay, great. So let's go back, okay, and check out the problem. All right, so for the problem, let's say, for example, that we use bid and borrow, okay? Yes. So you know what I'm using, okay? You use ask and borrow. The ask numbers will give you a slight difference, but not big enough, okay, to make you go otherwise, okay? So these are the numbers that we got, okay? So here, blah, 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 so 0.6251 minus the 0.6246 or the 6246, okay, times 12/3 times 100, okay, that should be more or less equal to the 3.80 minus the 3.08% the interest rate borrows in both countries, the interest rate in pounds and in euros, okay, so that's 0.32 versus 0.72. So now the forward premium is lower, okay, so we should borrow from the country with the lowest interest rate. That's 1 million euros, okay? All right, let's go ahead. All right, so the steps. We borrow money, so we borrow 1 million euros per 3 months at the interest rate to borrow of 3.27. Now it's when useful to write down on the left column all the information, okay, because you're gonna have a lot of information, so it's better if you have it just here what you need, okay? Then we change the money, okay? Then we change the money, so 624,600. We are going to multiply. Remember, when we multiply, we use the bid always, okay? When we divide, we use the ask always. Then we invest the money, okay? We just write down the information. Really, the one that we use is the interest rate, okay? It's the interest rate over here. Then we sign a forward contract to exchange the money. So we sign the forward contract, and then we write the information. we are using the ask because in the future we're gonna be bringing pounds back to euros. Okay, so we are gonna use the ask because whenever it's gonna be the opposite of the one that we use in the step number 2. In the step number 2, we are bringing euros to pounds and we use bid. In the future, we're gonna be bringing pounds to euros, so that's gonna be ask. Okay, that's how we know. We get the investment. Okay, so over here, okay, the 224, 3.80, 230,000. I just realized that this is a typo. Okay, it should be a comma. I'm sorry, I'm using Excel and bringing that, so every little number has to be written, so there could be some mistake like this. Sorry about that. But you know what I mean, okay? Then you exchange the money back using step number 4. So that's divided now, okay? So you're gonna get 1,006,920 euros. Then you pay back the loan from step number 1, okay? And you get 1,008,175, and then you compare. In this case, we have a loss, okay? Because of the fees that we had to pay, I mean, the bid and cost that we had to pay, the difference between the interest rate to borrow and to invest, we can perform the arbitrage. Remember that there was a second question, okay? So, what will happen if you own the money at the beginning, okay? What will happen? That's about the second question. What will happen if you own the money at the beginning? So here is all the solution again, blah, 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 blah. So if you own the money, what will happen is that you don't have to borrow the money, then you don't have to pay back the loan, then really this is what you get from the investment, okay? So you are making a 6,920 euros profit. Simple. Okay? All right, so now let's try to do a second problem. Okay? And this time you try to do it for yourself, okay? Just so you know, okay, just a heads up here, okay? You just need, in this case, the 4-month information, okay? So pause the video again. Let's try to do this problem. This is the last problem of today, and then you can go home. Oh wait, you're home. Okay, but let's pause the video again. Did you guys introduce you to my friend Monkey here? I mean, it's you know, almost me-sized monkey. We were crazy when we bought this, okay? But now it's kind of comforting to have it here with me while I'm recording the classes, okay? So, hey, hi. All right, so let's go back to the problem. How you did it with that, okay? Okay, so first the swap thing, okay, you have to add it because the ask swap is bigger, so you have to add it, and that will give you the actual forward rate that you have to use, okay? Then for the equilibrium, like always, okay, remember the euros minus dollar depends on the exchange rate, euros over dollars, so we have 1.0468 minus 1.04 over 1.04 times 12 over 4, so times 3 is 100 minus the 750 over the 450. I use again bid and borrow just because, okay? So then in this case the interest rate differential is higher, so that means that we borrow from the country with the lowest interest rate. That means the US, that means $100,000, okay? All right, so for the solution, okay, we borrow the money. We borrow $100,000 per month. Then we exchange the money. And remember the currency that we are trading is at the bottom of the exchange rate. So we use the bid. We multiply. We use the bid. Okay. Then we invest the money, we just write the information, there's the lender interest rate, okay? Remember when we borrow is the borrow interest rate. Then we're gonna sign a forward contract to exchange the money back in the future, okay? X time later. So then we get the investment, now it's 4/12, okay? Then we exchange the money back using the step number 4, using the forward contract, see, this number is the same. So we get this match. Then we had to pay back the loan that we asked for in step number 1, the $100,000. Like this and this are the same. And finally, we compare. We get that 213.35. Okay. In this case, if we own the money at the beginning, well, that would be our profit. Okay, it will be slightly more, like 1,746. Okay, but in this case, we do have a profit, despite the fact that we have different interest rate, bid and ask, etc. Okay. So this session, okay, with all your work working on the problems and stuff, okay, ends up here. On the next class, we are going to introduce a new kind of problem, okay? A problem that will be slightly different. It won't be an arbitrage, okay? It will be just you doing your honest work and getting some money. And we are going to introduce the problem. Still, it's going to be related to the interest rate parity, because if the interest rate parity is not holding, it's going to help us to obtain more or less money today. So that's something that we need to check, okay? So we're going to do that on the next session, okay? And then we will have still one more session before the review at the end, where we're going to be doing problems of both kinds, okay? So you can see the difference hand to hand, okay? Also, we're going to check out in the next week's session, okay, quoting here, in the next week's session we're gonna check out a documentary on Bitcoin, okay, on Bitcoin, because I think, well, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see an alternative way to currency, okay, and not the traditional one that we have studied in the class so far. And also, Bitcoins, you know, they may play a role in this new society that we may see arising around us right now. Okay, all right. So let's see each other in the next class.